Is your mind not caught up to your body when it comes to the way you look? Hi there, and welcome back to Ask Dr. Syra, the show where I answer your questions about personal growth, mental health, and relationships. Today's question comes from Rebecca. It's an interesting question as we've been focusing on body image for the last few weeks. And here's the question. I have lost a bunch of weight, but when I look in the mirror, I still see myself as overweight. Is this normal? I've lost a bunch of weight, but when I look in the mirror, I still see myself as overweight. Is this normal? So I want to let you know, yes, it's normal. Right off the cuff, yes, it's normal. And there's a couple of reasons why, and I want to share some of those with you. So the first thing I want to talk about is your set point. The second is your experience of your body. And then the third is lifestyle. So let's start with set point. Our bodies have a comfortable weight that they land in. And if we've been at a certain weight for a really long time, that becomes our set point. So I can talk about myself. There was a time that I was really heavy, about 100 pounds heavier than I am now. Yeah. And that was my set point, right? So it was very hard. I found it very hard to lose weight, and I could lose weight to a certain point, but then I'd kind of plateau out, and it's like I couldn't go beyond that particular number. And it was like that was as much as my body was going to let go to still feel like it was okay, and it was going to survive the wilderness, because that's why we hold weight, right? Because we've been designed to eat whenever we can and then hold on to the weight for the famine season. Like that's our design. And some of us can just eat a little bit and not make a big deal. Some of us, like me, I eat a lot and I can't stop eating if left to my own devices. So, and that's linked to food addiction, and there's another piece around that. But so I was, that piece around set point, my set point was pretty high. When I lost the weight about 6 years ago, and I've kept it off for 6 years, I reset my set point. However, mentally, I still looked like I was at that other number. So I remember going to the mall and buying a pair of pants and looking at these pants and being like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to get, these are like stupid small, right? Like there's no way. And I'd put them on and they'd fit. So it's almost like my eyes were broken. Like I couldn't actually see what I looked like because I just saw myself as I had been seeing myself for so long. So it's a normal thing. It doesn't feel good. It feels confusing. It feels a bit crazy making, but it's a normal thing for your mind to take some time to catch up to this new body. One of the things I was reading was about, our sense of how much space we take up in the world. I don't remember what the book was, but the body has a mind of its own. That's what it's called. The body has a mind of its own. And he was talking about how, when we like write with a pencil, the reason we're able to do that is because that pencil becomes kind of an extension of our body, right? So people who are really skilled in, I don't know, hockey, right? That hockey stick it's kind of an extension of the body, and the body like knows, okay, I have to move it this way to have this impact. Those who aren't so good at hockey, like maybe they don't have the same naturalness with that extension. So you can send your kind of concept of your body beyond the physical body. If your physical body is bigger, it's almost like we have a mental construct that I'm still out here, that this is the size of me. You might notice this with teenage boys, and when they have growth spurts, and then they just like they don't know how big they are and they crash into things, and so the mind is resetting that set point to say, okay, this is how much space I take up in the world. And it takes some time to undo that when you've been at a certain set point. So that's part of it, is why you might be seeing yourself as bigger, is because your mind just hasn't caught up to what's happening in your body. So that's first. The second is something that might be a little bit more serious. And so if this feels like you might want to talk to a professional about it, which is body dysmorphia, where you see your body significantly different than it actually looks in real life. This can often be connected to eating disorders or disordered eating. People who think they look really heavy, but like objectively they're not. And it can actually become really, really troubling for some people. So if it's becoming really troubling, and if you're like really way off base in how you see yourself, and your friends and your family are like, I think you need to like, like you're losing a little bit too much weight, or you don't really know what you look like, or you think you're fat, but that's not really true. Like if the people around you are not really seeing what you're seeing, it might be helpful to get an outside professional to look at, okay, what's happening here? Because it could be something that's happening in your mind around body dysmorphia, and you want to make sure you get appropriate support for that. The third thing I would say is around identity, right? So it's around lifestyle and identity. So for many, many, many years, I thought of myself as the heavy girl, because I was. And I'd kind of come to terms with that. Like, okay, I'm the fat friend, I'm the heavy girl, and that's just how it is. And it took some time to disentangle myself from that identity, right? Of the heaviest person in the room, or always comparing and seeing like, is there anyone bigger than me in this room? I used to do that. I don't do that anymore, because my main identity isn't about my size anymore, right? There's other things that I identify about more than my weight or my size. That's happened over time, right? As I retrain my brain to stop being so focused on the weight. Because when you see, the thing about it is, if you spent a long period of your life trying to get to a certain body, and then you get there, well, what do you have left to do? Where are you going to put all that mental energy, right? So much of our energy, for those of us who have this like kind of weight thing around food addiction, so much of our energy goes into eating or not eating. Am I on my plan? Am I off my plan? Have I gained weight? Have I lost weight? Can I eat this? Can I not eat this? Like, so much mental energy goes into managing food and weight. So when you no longer have to do that, it can be tempting to go back to that, even though you don't need to do that anymore, because those grooves are really deep in the brain, right? Those I need to fix my body grooves are really deep in the brain, and you'll have to undo that. You'll have to change the identity from someone who's trying to lose weight to somebody who doesn't really maybe think about their weight anymore. It's liberating, but it takes effort to get there. So those are my thoughts about why you might still see yourself as overweight, even though you've lost a bunch of weight. And to be fair, you might still be overweight. Like if you're coming from big numbers, right? And then you're down, you've lost a lot of weight, but you're still not where you need to be, then okay, so you're still overweight, you have room to go and you have time to go still. That's okay. I'm talking more about when you're not overweight, but you see yourself that way. Then we have to look at the set point, the body dysmorphia, and the identity piece. So those are my thoughts about that. Hopefully that was helpful, and I'll see you next time. Bye.